consumer price index came out a few days ago. It fell. Inflation fell to 4%, which is the lowest rate in 2 years. And it's below what analysts projected, which was 4.1%. Inflation at 4%, it doesn't mean prices are dropping. Prices are just going up slower than before. The ideal inflation apparently is 2%. So even at their ideal, your money is worth less and less every year, but that's sort of the way the economy works. So the overall figure is 4%, which, like we said, is the lowest since June 2021. But you can see that food is still increasing in price, 6.7%, 5.8%. However, energy has come down significantly. You can see gasoline minus 19%. You can see fuel oils, that's come down minus 37%. I mean, that's huge. Then you've got used cars and trucks. Those are coming down. New vehicles still increasing in price a little bit. Unfortunately, shelter, which would be rent and more, and prices of homes, that's still increasing. 8% inflation. Transportation is still increasing. So we still have serious inflation in the economy, but luckily, particularly the oil prices and anything linked to oil, like the gasoline and stuff, that's coming down. Used cars and trucks coming down as well. That could be an indicator that the economy is cooling. I'll give you some statistics. Last June, inflation was peaking at 9%. That was the peak. Gas was over $5 a gallon. Now we're down to 4%, and gas is $3.60 a gallon. So things are getting better. Well, better, because it's a sign of the economy cooling off. And there are some pretty worrying statistics, So something interesting that could be a sign that the economy is cooling is that RV sales are down 50% in 2023. Now, if you think about it, an RV, it's not something the average person needs, right? I mean, it's like a luxury. You'd have your regular car and then you'd have your RV, unless there's someone who's going to live in their RV, but that's like a different thing altogether. But most people who have an RV, it's for going on vacation, right? So they have a house and they have that RV as something extra. And so it really is the ultimate luxury vehicle. Okay, this one here with this alpaca in front of it doesn't look luxury, but
That's luxury at its finest.
yeah, it is supposedly the ultimate luxury vehicle if you do have an RV, if you're fortunate enough to have one, to take it on vacation and stuff. And when RV sales drop, it's actually one of the gauges that certain economists look at to get a gauge of where the economy is heading, because people tend to cut luxury spending first, and then they just keep their money for their essential spending. So the RV sales dropping 50% is a clear indication that we could be heading for a downturn. Now, similar to RV sales, there's also another thing called the cardboard box index. So when cardboard box sales are down, I think this is very funny. When cardboard box sales are down, it points to a sharp fall in inflation by the end of the year, because it means people are ordering less products, okay? Because obviously, what do products ship in? None other than cardboard boxes, right? And if there's less demand for products, the prices of products will go down. You've got this guy from Charles Schwab, Chief Global Investment Strategist Jeffrey Kleintop from Charles Schwab, talking about the cardboard box recession and what it means. And he actually thinks that it means that inflation will hit about 2% around the end of the year, just because the sales of cardboard boxes have gone down so much. It's indicating demand destruction, demand for goods going down, which is going to lower prices because it's lowering demand.
It's kind of interesting to think about the RV sales part of it, is that when you purchase an RV, you can actually get like a 15-year mortgage on the vehicle. So you can get a $50,000 or $100,000 vehicle, which typically a 5-year or 6-year on a car that's $120,000, $130,000. You're going to pay around $2,000 a month. But when you get an RV, that's going to be around $100,000. You're going to be around $1,200 a month, because you're going to be able to spread that out over 15 years. So it's really like, even people that don't have a lot of disposable income, when they're going for the RVs, they can buy them. So 50% drop, and that is really significant, I think. And I think the other thing is that's kind of contradictory to that is the airlines right now. They're seeing the biggest boom that they've ever seen. I mean, Delta in the month of May had 20 of its largest cash purchase days ever out of
Wow.
like 30. So the demand for flights is through the roof right now.
I think, though, we're in a kind of contradictory recession, though, because, the lockdowns that everything was closed down for so long, that there was a really big, you know, rush back to people doing travel. So if we hadn't had that, maybe you wouldn't be seeing such a high demand for travel.
Right. So that the I think it was the CEO of Delta or CEO of another major airline said it. We call it revenge sales. So it's like the revenge against COVID lockdowns. So people are now traveling everywhere, but there's still that's like a domestic demand in the United States. European travel still way down compared to what it was before 2020. And so it's pretty interesting to think about. I think that they might end up getting this soft landing. Either that or we're going to hit a wall or something as the plane comes in.
I
Like,
think the US economy is certainly in better shape than other countries. Our stock market is still pretty high. I mean, it's actually kind of booming, right?
it's
Yeah.
unreal. I mean, I got Ford stock a week ago and I was like, really? Where I'm up like 20%. The stock market is contradicting everything that's going on, but they did the same thing in COVID, right? Stock market dropped to like the Dow was down to 18,000 and then overnight it's back at like 28.
We had a V-shaped,
Yeah,
recession or
total
whatever.
V shape. And it's interesting that we're going to experience maybe the same thing, but like an inverted V instead of the dip. It might be like this high sky up and then drop down at the end of the year. But I definitely see the seven magnificent tech companies are the ones that led that way with keeping the stock market solid. Meta, Nvidia, Apple, Google, they've seen a lot of growth this year, so their stocks are all up. Tech is through the roof with this AI boom. So the cardboard boxes, like, yeah, I can see something to it, but does Amazon make their own cardboard boxes?
But anyway, he says inflation going down to 2% in the next 6 months is what he thinks it'll mean.